Hey everybody, good evening.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, good evening.
Gonna get
Welcome
everybody else in here.
everybody. Yeah, we got a few people.
There we go. Get everybody in here.
So Steve's like a deer in the headlights. You can hear us though. Just give it a nod if you can hear us. I can't hear you.
Can't hear Steve.
So welcome everybody. Farm Boy Reef / Brooklyn Aquarium Society live stream. We're going to be talking about Ryan's magnificent Hulk build, which you guys are mostly familiar with. With us tonight, Joe Graffinino, former president and sole backbone of the Brooklyn Aquarium Society, who has to turn the speakers around because I'm getting a crazy echo.
A little bit of an echo going on.
A little bit.
Okay.
All right, Steve Matassa, current president of the Brooklyn Aquarium Society. Let me hear that song voice. Okay, he's miming.
Still can't hear him.
So Steve is messing with the technical difficulty. We'll figure it out. No big deal. But I want to thank you guys for coming Friday night.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on with you guys.
And there's a few things that we'll get into. Ryan Nash, good friend and knowledgeable proprietor, creative Farm Boy Reef. We've known each other for quite a few years. Before that, I followed Ryan for a long time because it's not everybody that I watch and actually feel that they're going through the pace of learning. They're taking the time to understand and take care of the animals. And I thought that was a big thing, a big reason why I follow him on YouTube. You're gonna have to turn the volume down, Joe, because I feel like I'm losing it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of echo going on.
It's a little bit of the echo. And I think Steve's gonna call me. Okay. But yes, Farm Boy Reef Club on YouTube. Many of you guys have asked me via Joe, mute for a minute. Check. Okay, I just want to make that. So
Yeah.
we'll come on and off between mutants, so on and so forth. I don't want to kill everybody out there.
Yeah.
One very, very, very reoccurring question that I've got on. Actually, I've got a few on your channel, Ryan, on the Farm Boy Reef.
Yep.
I've gone on the.
I see everybody getting on there right now.
I've got a lot of questions about when we're going to have live meetings, so I want to address that first and foremost. As you guys may or may not know, Brooklyn Aquarium Society meets the second Friday of every month at the New York Aquarium. But since we have been dealing with the pandemic, we have not been able to meet in person. So we've been increasing our online presence, trying to do more and more. I've been working with Ryan and the Reef Collective, which we do every Saturday night at 9 o'clock. We're trying to provide you guys with as much content, one-on-one Q&A, development, and as much benefit, which we will mention later on in the show for all the members of Farm Boy Reef and the Brooklyn Aquarium Society. We've been trying to generate as much interactive information and following as we can, since we cannot meet in person. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, because we're not having in-person meetings, I know a lot of you guys are auction. We know we're used to our auctions, meeting in person, trading fish, breeding, and doing the live auctions, which we haven't been able to do for obvious reasons. The board, me being which, Joe, Steve, the rest of the board, all of us are in the middle of, if not at the back end of, working with online auction software, which we are almost at the precipice of making go live. So what this is going to allow us to do is we will have online auctions in which you guys can post your fish. For right now in the general New York area, we'll try to extend that as we learn more about the software. But for right now, it's going to be the general New York area. We will be able to start online auctions, which will probably run the course of a weekend. And we're still kicking the tires, but you will be able to post your merchandise, fish, and other items on this auction. We will be able to view it from the Facebook page and other social media, and you'll be able to have online auctions. So we're trying to make that a reality as soon as possible. And I just wanted to put that out there because I have got at least 20 questions regarding when we're going to meet again and when we're going to be able to do auctions again. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, for those of you that have membership to the in-person meetings, membership goes year to year. You may have gotten renewal notices. What we're going to do as the Brooklyn Aquarium Society, and the president is working on probably jumping in there now, is we are going to credit your membership with the time that we have not been able to meet in person to the time that we can hopefully meet again. So there's a lot of logistics involved in doing that. So for example, if your renewal runs out in February, right, and we have not been able to meet since last February, we're trying to extend your membership for that period of time that we cannot meet. But since there's a lot of logistics in there, we're basically working with everybody to extend the membership time and offer you additional benefit in the interim. So stay tuned. I will be notifying you via email in regards to how that's going to work, so everybody is on the same page. I don't know, Joe, if you had something to add to that, you wanted to unmute.
Well, members can still join if they want to join the Brooklyn Aquarium Society. They can join it through our website. That's bassny.org. Up at the top on the right-hand side, you'll see a thing for membership. It'll come up with a page. Please fill the membership form out, and then you'll have to pay through PayPal. But we are accepting membership now, and that membership will be good from, if you do it today, you got until we come up to having full-time meetings again, and then we will extend whatever the months are that we did not have full-time membership since you joined. So hopefully that'll be helpful. Obviously, if you join now, we'll be able to include you with the online auctions. You will be notified about how to do it, when we're going to do it, and how it's going to work out. We're probably going to meet at a public location, swap fish, and things like that. You'll be able to pay through PayPal through our membership location on the website. Pay for your fish, and then we'll set up the meet for you. The club will send out checks to those people who have sold their fish. We'll be able to do it that way, so it's still safe, and we'll work out some sort of a swap location for you guys to meet. Okay, that's about all I have for right now. Enjoyed the show.
So once again, Ryan Nash, Farm Boy Reef Club, is talking about the 600-gallon. Every time I say 600,
yeah, I know, right?
It gives me like you can't really fathom what goes into building a 100-gallon, let alone 600-gallon reef tank. So we're going to be
everything's oversized. Everything's oversized.
And I feel like I kind of rode along with you for this ride
because well, we've gone through everything together, buddy.
We've gone through a lot of equipment.
Yes.
As everybody knows, I'm not the anti-equipment man, but I'm
not.
a very analytical. I'm a strong believer in the science, which is why Ron and I constantly talk about what's going in and how it's used and what I can use and what I don't use and what he uses and all the aspects. So
yeah, but it works out perfectly, right? I like automation and stuff. You're like more of the older school, but we bring it all together.
Oh, you'll be proud of me because I'm leaking something right now. That I'm probably going with this Captain America theme.
Nice.
With the native tank build.
Nice.
Which I probably gotta pick Joe's brain on because Joe Graffinino is, in my opinion, the master breeder.
The master.
Or one of several master breeders of the club. So I have to pick his brain because in building a tank, there's a lot goes into it, and a lot of us don't build on species. Like when you're building your tank, which people are going to hear, is a lot goes into picking what goes into the tank. So we're going to make it a real leisurely discussion, and you have some pictures, you have back and forth. If anybody has any questions, post them in the comments below. You know how I am with the moderation, so I'll be moderating. And we're looking at handing the mic over to you, Ryan. So
okay, well, I appreciate you guys having me. Excited to talk about my 600-gallon tank. So I got some pictures for you. I did have a pinpoint PowerPoint presentation for you guys, but of course on game day it got a little corrupted and it didn't work right. But I still have all the photos and stuff. So we can start right from the beginning of getting the tank. So I got the pictures and we can go right through it, right to the end, and then I can show you a video of what the tank is looking at today. Because the tank is mature. It's about a year old. I think it turned a year old last month. So I'll show you guys. So I'm going to pull up some pictures for you guys.
So now let's start off by going over the dimensions of the tank, because when you say 600 gallons, I don't think people can really fathom what that is.
Okay, so the dimensions are there as 96 by 48 by 32. So I went really deep with this tank. Like I'm 6'2", I have long arms, I can still reach the bottom, but I wanted to have that. I wanted to have that depth of the tank, plus I wanted to have the height in the tank as well, because I really want to do some really nice arches in there. And I'm going to show you guys. I did an arch. It's about 2 feet by 3 feet that goes right in the tank, and it's perfect because that's where all the rose bubble tip anemones are. Because remember, D, they were split, and you didn't think they'd stay there. So yeah, so 96 by 48 by 32 inches.
Oh my God! Now we can jump in. Now we can jump into the picture because so that arch is mind blowing.
Right. So I'll just show. I got a few pictures here. I'll show you guys. Like here, getting it delivered to the house. So it wasn't much fun. You guys can see. These guys were troopers. You guys are brothers. I hired them to help me bring it, but they made me walk like the plank of death here to get it into the house.
Holy crap!
You see that?
And it was snowing.
Yeah, it was snowing. Every time I seem to do a build, it snows. So yeah, very stressful. I'm on the bottom here with my brother. I can only get my brother that day to help bring it in the house. But just looking up at it, knowing like if this slips, this baby's gone on top of me is very, very stressful. And these guys are professionals. They're like, it's gonna be no problem. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm doubting this. Like, it was very stressful. So yeah, so that was getting it into the home. Okay.
Now you didn't have to bring it through the window, did you?
No, we just brought it through the back door. I'll show you guys. So this is how they wanted to build it, because we had to go back through the back door because where my tank is, it has its own addition onto the house. So it's like my own man cave area just to relax, and that's where the tank is. So we had to come around through the back. So I had to run to the neighbor, get a bunch of pallets to get the right height that we could slide the tank across and make it onto the deck. All right. Trust me, when you get into the house, you definitely appreciate having it in there.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll keep going here. So just give you guys a bit of an idea of how this all taken place.
Now, how long did it take you to get that tank delivered, like from order to delivery? Like to get that made? Like who made it? Okay, so Concept Aquarium's out of Calgary. Okay.
That's who builds my tanks. The craftsmanship's amazing. This is all 19 millimeter glass. 3 sides of it are Starfire. The back where the weir is glass. I'll show you guys a picture of that. And then a black acrylic in the back of it where it butts up against the wall. So that's how we end up building that one out. So it's all 19 millimeter glass, but Concept Aquarium's out of Calgary. And it took about probably 2 months, maybe. He was very busy, about 2 months. And they did a straight delivery all the way from Calgary, and the delivery service was like $250 to get it here. And it was crated. Like they crated it up like really well. The way everything shipped perfectly. Nothing was cracked or chipped or anything like that. So there it is. I'm always worried.
I'm always worried about the overflows, like when you're moving those things, because I almost always see people grab those things by the overflows, or like when they're moving that thing, your overflow is outside. Like it's on the outside.
Yeah, so I should have a picture here to show you on the outside when it's being built. Like I had my presentation, it was perfect because it would show everything right out of the gate.
And you know
Okay,
Bernard,
so
if you're out there, he was trying to get a tank build, and they would tell him, I think, 2 months to ship it or something like that, a month to ship it.
yeah, a month? No, well, not for these guys. But so this is the overflow box that's on the end of the tank, and this is the piece that I had when I designed it. I measured my wall, right, my 2x4 stud wall that is going into the fish room. So I want to make sure, so when I cut a hole in the wall, this would slide right into the wall, right into my fish room, where I could hook up all my plumbing. So when you're designing your build, and you're like, okay, you're going to get a custom tank, so you know what room you're going to have. You want to make sure and plan everything out so everything fits perfect, so you're not causing yourself a lot of headaches, right? Well, that was my sump too. I'll show you guys that in a bit. But
and that big tank sitting on a steel frame, right?
Yes, here I'll show you.
You said your guy had that made. No, keep going. I'm just people. What you call it? The Zoomer is here. 2 months now. You said 2 months. Wow, that was fast.
Oh yeah, it was pretty quick.
I think his guy told him like 2 months of shipping or something like that, or 3 months or something like that. But he's trying to get a tank similar to what you're building. So I'm glad he's here. So
okay.
So nice. If you got questions, Mr. B, put them in there now.
So this is the stand that I got welded and everything, and then I got it all custom coated with the green because it's the Hulk. It's going with that theme. This stand because it's 48 inches. There's no door I have in my house. It's 48 inches. So this stand was built in 2 pieces, 2 feet, and then I end up bolting them all together into place. Okay. So it was easier when you're carrying it into the house, but that was the way I ended up doing it, just by bolting everything together.
That's a good idea.
And it's solid, like you guys can see there.
I'd be scared to put a tank that big on wood unless it was like 6x6s, and like I'd still be kind of nervous.
Oh, I hear you. So this is just to show you how I end up cutting it into my fish room.
Okay.
Yeah. So underneath that stand, everything was engineered and supported in the crawl space that's under there. So it has a mini basement in it, but it was engineered and reinforced to take the weight. Because almost the weight was like having like 2 F-150 trucks sitting in there. I think we did the math.
Yeah.
And it's very dangerous too, because if it ever cracked, it's small.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's very stressful. So that was the stand, and then I was just getting my lighting laid out. But that shows you where I cut the hole. So the tank, when we put it onto the stand, literally just slid it right back. Boom, it's right tight against the wall. Nice clean lines. You can't see anything. Give you that idea.
And you just picked that size out of the blue?
the 600?
Yeah, like did you just go with the dimension, or you just said you wanted a 600-gallon tank, or you just go with the dimension and it worked out to be 600?
Yeah, because I only had so much room in my addition that I didn't want it to oversize it. So and then, like you remember before, I built my own 700. It didn't go very good, and I'll never do that again. But 600 was going to fit perfectly, and for the price wise, I could afford, the tank to stand, plus all the gear that has to go with it, because even the gear costs so much money to run a bigger tank. So right here just shows you where I was cutting the hole and get everything all squared up to slide that overflow box into the back, into the fish room. So I showed you guys the tank in the stand.
And moving it. Oh my God.
Yeah. So here, I'll show you. I got a funny picture here for you. So here's just a funny one, me in my tank. So you get a little bit of an idea.
And Ryan's a big guy, if you don't know.
Yeah, I'm like 6'2".
Tall. And you can go down and be completely submerged in that thing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So Bernard, there's your dimensions, because he was looking for something similar but lower. So I think his would probably be 300 to 400, I guess, about half the height.
Yeah, because I like myself, I still need to access need a ladder to get into it. Let's see. If you start like sitting under it, shows you there's me with my stand. It sort of gives you this that focal point of how big it is. Sometimes it's hard to tell in a photo.
Yeah, oh man. Now the funny thing is, somebody mentioned it, a wood frame. Now,
yeah, wood frame.
I know several people that have tanks over 300 gallons on wood frames is just two things. A, getting it through the door, because most of the time you have to build that in the space, or under supporting a tank that big can be
Yes.
serious trouble, because if you have a pressure point or a weak spot anywhere in that stand, that water will tend to find it. And if you're building glass on like a glass with no frame sitting on an uneven base,
Yep. Well, that's the thing. Exactly. Any of those little uneven pressure points, that's where it's going to hit. It's going to crack. It's
So
going to
between the tank and the stand, just
He's
piece of wood you
alive!
put down, it's working. All of a sudden, just started.
he's alive.
There, he's working. How's it going,
Between
Steve?
How you doing?
Good.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Amazing. A couple of questions. Between
Yes.
the tank and the stand, there's just a piece of
Yes.
plywood you put in there?
Yes, there's a piece of plywood. So the manufacturer, they glue a piece of plywood right on the bottom. So when they're building it, they build it on a piece of plywood and it's glued onto it. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I had a picture, I could show you that, but
Okay.
just picture here. I'm just showing that I'm just starting to laser and lay out all my LED lighting before
Right.
I wanted, because I have all my anchor points. Before the tank's up, it's much easier, and I'll show you guys that.
I've always, on any large tanks I set up, because I even do a little maintenance on the sides of too, and I've always put polystyrene between the glass tanks and the frame. And I'll tell you that it takes up any imperfections in your stand and everything. And as far as what David was saying with wood, I built stands for 250-gallon tanks and never had a problem.
Yeah,
you could put 500 gallons on. If you're building the right way, they're fine. And I don't even use 2x or 4x. I just double apply. Plywood is stronger than wood.
Well, that's the key. Yeah, that's the key. Like, you have to build a frame correctly.
Of course. But I mean, this that looks like it's a powder-coated frame, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, yeah, which is great, especially around saltwater, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We all know what saltwater does to everything, you know.
Exactly. So this picture here, you can see the plywood underneath it right here.
Yeah,
You could fit that. You could fit that,
Okay.
Steve. You could get that downstairs.
And who built your tank for you?
It was out of Calgary, Customs.
Very nice.
So one thing too, it was a good pointer. So you see how my tank is black in the bottom. So I had them put like a wrap on the bottom of the tank. So if any sand or anything does get moved, you don't see wood. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I just want to show you that. Okay.
So how long did it take from start to finish?
From start to finish.
To build a system or build a tank?
So to get it up and running, from when you started to when you got it up and running.
Holy smokes. Probably a good 4 months, I think. I was working it on and off. And,
That's not bad.
yeah.
Just making the water.
Oh, yeah. Just making the water and just filling it up,
That's
right?
a lot
You
of
got an
water.
RO, even if your RO does 100 gallons a day, right? That's 6 days of water just there, right there.
Well, that's the thing, right? I had an RO, and it was so slow. I don't know what was wrong with it at the time, and I ended up borrowing one of my buddies to help me. And his is twice as fast, so we ended up finally getting it filled because I just wanted to just run, fresh, nice RO water, first fill up, none of this tap water stuff or anything. So it took some time, but this hobby, you got to take your time and do it right. So right here, just to show you, so this was my fish room that I started. So it was actually when I bought the house, when I saw this room, like this would be perfect to put a fish room in here. So,
But no matter how much you try to think of every piece of equipment and everything you want to do, by the time you're finished, I'm sure there's always things saying, I should have done this, I should have done that.
Always. Never fails.
And I've been doing tanks since I'm a kid, and every time you set up a tank, you always say, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? It's always something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not easy. I don't think anybody realizes when you're setting up a saltwater this size what's involved in this. And I'm sure you're racking your brains out with months before you even started thinking of what you wanted to do.
Oh, exactly. Whoops. What did I do there?
And then even when you get it all up and running, you're like, oh, wow, I could have did this.
Of course, it's every time.
Just trying to show you here. So,
and there's no top on that tank, right? It's an open top. There's
it's Euro braced all the way around the top of it. So there's no cross members or pieces going across it. I just wanted to show you this.
And the funny thing about that is, okay, now you have the tank, you have that has levelers on that stand.
No, this one actually didn't have it. And I'll be honest with you, everything worked out perfectly, if you can imagine. I put everything into place and everything was level. Like I made sure everything was perfectly level.
That's lucky.
Yeah. So whoever did the floor,
Oh, you're lucky.
Whoever did the flooring, they did a good job.
Because that was the other thing. That's the big thing I run into.
I think in my experience, every tank I've ever seen leak wasn't leveled properly. And that's when it's not leveled properly, you're putting stress on the seams unevenly, you know,
Exactly.
and I've seen so many times happen. It's so important to get that level. And like you said, you're lucky that you had a contractor do a nice job on your floor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So this is where I, just before I show you, I had my laser and I was mounting everything on the ceiling with a pinpoint laser. So I made sure everything was perfectly spaced. Because when it comes to your reef tank, you want everything, look really pleasing to the eye. And everything looks symmetrical.
And I'm going to pick on Ryan by saying he has to have it symmetrical. Or if it doesn't look right, he's going to take it down.
Well, exactly. And then this is how I ran all my wiring on the ceiling. So there's all my hangers like I showed that I installed. And then I got some, I'm in the electrical field, so I got some Panduit and I painted it purple to match the theme of the Hulk. So right here in this trough, I could run all my wiring in here and keep everything nice and clean. And then I put a cover on it. And at the same time, I put an LED strip down the middle, and then I can make it green, so at night it glows like the Hulk a bit.
Because you definitely put your time in before this even started. You thought of this a lot. And
yeah.
I'm sure this didn't just come off.
No, not at all. So we have another view of that Panduit on the ceiling.
That's nice.
So keep everything nice and tidy.
That's my struggle now with the controllers. Like dealing with the controllers are good, but getting all the wiring back and forth from the controllers to power to the tank, I can never keep that wire organized. Like, it's a real project. David. It's a real project. Like the new build, I started out with everything clean, and then I got to add a temperature probe. Now I got wires hanging.
Exactly, and that's what so in the fish room, I did the Panduit all the way around the room, so I could hide all my wiring, so there was never really any wiring that you could see. So that's like if you had that D, you could just pull that off, right, and put it in your new
snap,
probe.
and it'll snap, right?
Snap it in. So everything, I'm going to show you after everything's all finished here, but all my probes, everything came from the apex into my sump. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
You put your sump actually in the other room, so you're not crawling under things to change filters and whatever.
Exactly.
That's a great idea.
Like me and Steve. Like me and Steve.
I don't have the room to do that. Behind my fish room is my bathroom. I don't think I could stick a filter in the middle of my bathroom, but that works out great.
No, you got to decorate it like a makeup mirror or something. Then your wife won't notice it,
You double as a toilet.
Oh yeah, right. That's nutrient. It's a nutrient sink.
Where the heck is it?
It's all about the space too, the planning and the space. Of course it is.
Yeah.
Because Ryan, before that tank came in, he was already planning. This is going to go here. The power is going to run up this way.
Yeah,
and you still end up changing it. Like once the stuff comes, the cable's too short, or he has the ability to run and extend the cable, or
a new piece of equipment comes out that you want now and stuff, or
Yep, exactly. I'm trying to where to put that.
I mean, 5 years ago, half this equipment wasn't even out, and now with the DC pumps and DC lighting and stuff, something's so different. My first reef tank, I had those metal halides that heated my tank up to 95 degrees every day. And now with the LEDs, I mean, it's so much of a difference to me. I think definitely.
I ran that, Steve. The one I actually bought one from our auction that probably Steve showed me.
Probably one that I gave in because I didn't want it anymore.
I ran it for 3 days, and on the third day, I made the mistake of reaching and touching that light.
But oh man, it get hot.
And when I tell you, every curse came out of me.
So it gives you a little bit of idea how it turned out. Everything.
Nice.
Everything has a place.
You don't see a wire in there.
No, not much. Not much.
I'm hating you right now. You don't see one wire there.
What kind of skimmer do you have, Ryan?
I have a
What kind of
Deltec
skimmer was
skimmer. A Deltec.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looked like it was working pretty well. It was pretty full, that cup.
Oh yeah. It's a beast, that thing.
And now last week we had Tristan from Pax Bellum on the Reefing Collective. In that room, you see Ryan's the Pax Bellum. It's what, 4 feet tall?
Wow.
Almost 4 feet there. I'll just show you a picture. There's my son who's helped me. So this right here is the Pax Bellum. This is the RD36C. This is my main nutrient exporter for my tank. By just using, try to use nature as much as possible to clean my tank.
He's still small enough you could put him right in the tank to clean it, right?
right. So,
and for those of you that don't know, the Pax Bellum is a new generation of nutrient export.
yeah.
It does what a refugium does in a closed and controlled environment. So if you guys didn't know what the Pax Bellum is, that's the breakdown.
There's a top view right there. So that LED goes right down through, like, let's say, the core of this reactor. So it's my main nutrient export. So when I'm testing weekly and I see, my PO4 and NO3 going up, I regulate my lighting. So, if everything is creeping up on me, I just type into the Apex. The Apex is controlling for me, turning the light on and off. So I run more lighting equals more nutrient export. And if things are starting to suck too much out of the tank, I just drop my lighting and we're back on track. That's how
you have to trim that like the coral, the mackerel in there?
Yes.
Does it grow quickly?
Yeah, it does. So this is about 2 weeks. So another 2 weeks, I'll take half from the top of the reactor and half from the bottom and put it back in, and then you're done.
Wow. Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks, yeah. I had where's that picture? I thought I had a picture here, a pail full of it, but yeah. So there's always a lot left over. I don't know where the heck it went. But yeah, so half of that and half of that. So you got like almost one of those full every time you're taking out of the reactor.
And now you can also run multiple tanks off of that reactor, as Tristan was telling us. So that could be a solution for you, Steve. Like you can run a T off to multiple tanks to that Pax Bellum, and it's a beast.
Oh yeah, it works so efficient that if you don't watch it, you can like strip your tank of all nutrients. So that's why I'm always testing weekly to make sure everything is on track. So there's show you the Delta.
You have that plumbed into your filter? It's right into your sump, brother?
Yeah. So maybe I could try to show you a closer up picture here. So I have it running off a header, off of a Biz A400 pump. I don't know if this will show you here, but
I like the purple PVC.
Yeah, thank you.
Green and purple.
I don't know if you can see it, but I have everything. So everything runs. This whole system pretty much runs off that one pump. I have a backup just in case of it ever.
Wow, look at that sump, Jesus.
Yeah, so
six filters, some stocks in there.
Yeah, I got 6 of them. They are 8-inch.
4, not 4.
No. Are they 8
7,
inch?
8 inch.
7 inch, aren't they?
They're 7.
I have the same ones.
Okay, yeah, they're 7 by 12 inches. Yeah, 7 by 12. Yeah. So I have everything. Oh, do you? Okay. I'm a fan of filter socks.
You got 2. You're baby man.
I'm a fan of filter socks. Like I don't mind. I have a bunch of different ones I change out, and then the rest just go right in the washing machine. And then they're done. They like how they polish the water. Plus, I'm not adding anything into the landfill. You know what I mean? I find I'm trying to do my part.
Oh, save the environment.
Try, right?
Yeah. When I get about a dozen or so like that, I throw them in the machine with just bleach, no soap, and turn them inside out. They clean, but they're fine. They're all over. I've been using the same socks for years.
So you use bleach? That scared me to use bleach. I didn't
really. No, not in the machine. When they come out, they're fine. You let them air dry, they're fine.
Yeah, I personally myself, I just use vinegar.
Vinegar?
Yeah, that's all I use.
All right.
In the machine? In the washing machine?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That'd be good to clean my washing lines out, actually.
Right?
Yeah, it's supposed to clean the old detergent out your lines.
So right over here, this is where everything's plumbed in. So the Pax Bellum is hard plumbed right into my whole system.
Now we got a question from Starways Reef. She says she has 2 questions. She says, Ryan, please tell us about the screen for the Apex, because I think she was looking at the screen, which is actually a television monitor.
Yes, it is. Let me see.
So how big is that monitor?
That one, I think it's a 40. If I remember correctly. Where is it?
So 40-inch monitor. So I think you'll be able to see your readings when you go into the room. You'll definitely see your readings.
So people ask me, like, how do I run it? Like, if I don't have another screen, well, what you can do is like go on Amazon or whatever, and you can buy a touch screen overlay that lays right on top of that television. So you can touch the television so it becomes a big tablet. That's how I do it. So, yeah. So you can take any size TV. It comes in different sizes, but you can make any TV a touchscreen, and you don't have to have an iPad or a laptop or anything or a computer. So when I'm in that room and I want to, mess around with stuff, I just touch my screen.
Look, I could see his wheels turning. There's a monitor going in that.
There's a monitor going in that room.
Everyone's like,
you know what? Like I said, I always the same thing. You always think of a bigger tank and everything else. The problem is I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7". There's only so far I can reach.
Right.
Yeah, but Ryan, I'm gonna tell you, Steve's the guy that I went over to his house and he says, "Hey Alexa, do so and so and so." And I was like, went home and I could not sleep that night because I was like, I have to automate my room.
That's funny.
Alexa turns all my lights on in my house. Outside, I get that all set up. It's great. I love it.
So now I have multiple tanks on that smart system, Steve. I'm trying to innovate.
Right.
I'm trying to innovate.
Yep. There's a bit of idea how much plumbing it took for me to do the plumbing in my room. I got all that PVC from Reef PVC when I did my build, and they were out of Calgary as well. There's a young guy. He was probably in his 20s. He was starting up a business, and I said, "Well, yeah, let's get your plumbing on the bill." And so we got that all set up. But yeah, I love the colored stuff. It's beautiful. So it's all Schedule 8.
Sorry. Use regular gate valves. I see there.
Oh yeah, I did everything in gate valves, pretty much.
The valves you got like all gate valves. So gate valves, but you can't throttle. You're supposed to be opened or closed. So that's the only reason. Why did you use a gate valve over a ball valve? What was the advantage you thought of?
Why? Okay, so when I built, I wanted my system not to have very much noise. So when I did 4 1/4 overflows off the overflow box, I'll give you an idea here. Where's my sign?
So they're just the gates. I thought they still throttled though. They just open or close.
Well, you can adjust it.
Throttle.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just trying to find that picture here. Where did I show you guys?
I know in plumbing, gate valves, you're not supposed to throttle because it wears the gate out. Where a globe valve you can ding, or a ball valve you can throttle more.
So what I did here, the reason why I did it, so I got 4 of them. They're 1 1/4. There's lots of flow. I'm not worried about, something get plugged up. If one does get plugged up, I got 3 other ones. So with my weir here, I wanted to be very silent. So by able to adjust how much flow, I can make my weir pretty much silent. So when you walk into the room, you don't hear any water flow, or if you're outside anywhere, you don't hear water flow. So that's the reason I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you using for return pumps?
I am using an Abyss A400.
Which is that?
The Abyss.
The Abyss A400. I got a picture of it here somewhere. This one here.
The Abyss A400.
The Abyss. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's one of that pump for everything, or?
Yep, that runs my whole system.
Yeah, and they're strong pumps. Yeah. How do you like them?
Oh, amazing! I'll be honest.
I know they're very expensive, but
don't ask him how he likes it. He loves that Abyss.
Oh, I love it. See, I even love it so much. I'm wearing the T-shirt tonight.
Right.
I'm gonna donate a kidney and then I'm gonna get one of those.
They're pretty quiet too, right?
Oh, you walk into that room, you can't even tell it's running. Sometimes I got to go put my hand on it. Just is it actually feel like it's moving? Yeah, it's a great pump.
Tremendous head pressure on those pumps too.
Yeah, like 25 feet of head pressure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
25 feet. Remember the show, Steve, where he shoots it straight up into the roof of the
Yep.
Yeah, that was the aquarium. What's
one of the expos went.
Yeah. So I'll give you a bit of an idea here. So there, I'm just cleaning the glass, buffing it a little bit, like you're doing a car. So I can show you how the lighting turned out, how all the wires are hidden.
Yep. So your drains are all at one end, and your supply is all at the other end. So it's just going right straight through lengthwise.
Yeah. So what I did is I was trying to hide as much plumbing as possible. But you see, I wish I could show a better picture. But you see how this return over here on the right.
Right.
So that pipe I think it's the 1-inch pipe. That 1-inch pipe goes up in that panduit, that purple panduit. It runs through here and comes back into my tank. I didn't want it. I wanted to hide it, right? So nobody could see it. Wish I could show you.
What is that channel you have on top?
It's called panduit.
Oh,
So
so you can
Yeah, I
hide it
haven't
that
seen
way.
it like that.
What's that?
Not a lot of pumps are going to handle that kind of head pressure.
Yeah,
This,
up
I know
and
the Abyss
over.
will, yeah.
So you see this pipe here that climbs the wall?
Yep.
That's the one that goes all the way to the other end of my tank, through the panduit and down into my tank.
That's just one return. That's it. One pipe coming in from your tank.
Okay, yeah. So no. Plus, there's 2 more. I can't show. So in the back of the tank where the weir is, there is another 2 1.5-inch pipes. I wish I could show you that. You caught me off guard with that one. Right here, I think I could show you. So see here and here.
Oh, okay.
See here.
Right.
So on both sides of this weir, there's these pipes that shoot. I got 2 flow generator.
Random flow generators.
Yeah, so I got one of them on each end of the tank. So you got 2 here, and then another one at the other end of the tank. Because I wanted to have flow at the other end.
In that overflow box, I see you got 4 bulkheads, and there's no pipes. They're just flat. So you're just adjusting the gate valve to quiet them.
You got it.
Okay. I got you.
So so here's a picture. So I got 4. So there's 4 of these in the tank. These flow generators.
You like that?
Oh yeah, they've been working great.
Yeah.
Especially have that extra pressure and everything from
I just ordered 2 of those actually.
Oh, did you?
Generator, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I've been using the spin stream, but as you go up in pressure, the spin stream tends to lock up, where the flow generator doesn't have that shortcoming.
So yeah, so that is pretty much that part of it. I could show you here another. So this is actually a Biz pump there, and I actually took a 2-inch right off my sump. So this one's not a gate valve, Steve. This is a ball valve.
Right.
Yeah. And make sure you put your bulkheads on, or your bulkheads on everything, not bulkhead, unions on everything in case you ever want to take it apart.
So you're regulating the gate valves on the drain.
Yes.
On the supply, you got the ball valve. Yeah.
That's right. So this thing here runs full pin. Plus, with this pump too, you can regulate the flow.
So the pressure's not on the gate valve. The pressure's on the ball valve.
Yeah, exactly.
So those pumps, the Abyss, can be run in or out of the sump?
Yes. Yep.
I didn't know that. I thought they were only internal. I didn't know that.
No, you can run them both. You can run both ways. I put mine on the outside, and just much easier to work on, I find. Plus, they give off a little bit of heat as well, but not too much. So we get a little bit of rock work going on here. So I had my daughter. She was helping me mix up some of this eMarco 400. I had her involved in it. She's always around when I'm working on things.
Daddy's little girl.
Yeah, so we're trying to build some arches for in the tank. See it here? So we were building arches. It's hard to show, but that took the 2 of us to get it into the tank.
Wow. Now, how much rock? How many pounds of rock would you say you have in that tank?
Oh man, I don't know.
It's got to be a ton. It's got to be a ton of rock.
I know I had 600 pounds of it when I brought it into the house. So I didn't use all 600.
Oh, okay.
Because I want to have a little bit of room for fish to swim, move around. I was going to show you. I had a picture of all the rock. But, oh yeah, right here. So this was all the rock I brought back from the barn there.
So you used all regular base rock?
Yeah, eMarco rock.
No live rock or?
No.
How about sand?
Sand, I used. Show you here. There's a couple pictures of it. So this is just getting started, but I had a lot. I don't know what I had.
You got about 3-4 inches of sand at least. More than that.
I had two of those brute barrelfuls of sand.
Brute barrels.
Yeah.
40 gallon barrels of sand.
Yeah. Those ones.
I wouldn't want to be the guy shoveling that in.
Yeah. So, but again, no live sand, no live rock and stuff.
No. So here's some of the arches we were working on there. at the time. Things have changed around a little bit. If you're like anybody, you don't like the looks of something while it's running, you move it. I tried to stay away from doing that, but this arch is, it's cemented in with the eMarco 400.
That's cool. I like that. Yeah.
Permanently in there.
The eMarco cement, that rock builder is becoming very, very much a staple in building aquascapes.
Oh yeah, it works really, really well. I've used it on a few of my builds there now. Let's get another angle here. But it's cool, seeing the progress from here to what it looks like today. It's amazing how things grow. And like I seeded my tank with Algae Barn's Coraline algae in a bottle there, the Helix and Pink Fusion. That's how I end up doing my tank. Is there anything else you guys want to see?
Now the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
You have the aqualumination, or you have the what do you have lighting that tank?
So I have the Hydra AI 52s on my tank here. I actually got a picture of it here. So I have the AI 52s. I've had them for my previous build, and then I end up getting I talked to Tulio from Reef Club. We just figured out what kind of design we were going to go with.
Those are nice, yeah.
Yeah, so those are his new HXOs or whatever. Those the kits that you put on.
You bolted it to your light?
Yep, they just bolt on. Let's see if I get another picture for you here.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, see how right here? So they end up. I got the AI hanging kit. The AI hanging kit just goes right through. There's a bolt. The bolt's right on, right through his kit.
And now, Steve, we had Tulio on a few weeks ago. He makes an angle bracket that actually swivels and is directional. So
yeah,
he released that since we spoke to him last.
Yeah, he did. He got it. It goes on many different kinds of brands of lighting now.
Adaptable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what. So there you get an idea. So I got 6 of them, 6 52s, and I got 6 kits of the Reef Wraith.
6, 8, 52.
Yeah, I'm liking them. I'm thinking about upgrading eventually. I'm not sure to which ones yet.
Because you have the AI. Those are the 52s.
Yeah, now the 60 was it 62s or something right now.
And you also have the Reef Bright bars as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I was going to ask you, which Reef Brights do you have? You have the 50/50s or all actinic blue Reef Brights on there?
All actinic blue. So
okay.
Yeah. So when I called Tulio, we were like, "How are we going to light this tank?" And I'm like, "Well, I got 6 of these 52s." He's like, "Well, why don't we just put them right down the middle? Because that's mostly where all your acros, SPS are going to be higher in the tank, and then all your softies and stuff slowly go out towards the edge and don't need as much light." So this is the design that we came up with. So yeah, so that is that part of the tank. So you saw the fish room, saw the plumbing, you saw the lighting.
We got the sand, we got the rockscape. Now you come to the point where you start putting water in this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Let me show you
like how long does it take to fill 600 gallons?
Well, like I was saying,
RO water.
Yeah,
I could feel my water bill going up just thinking about that.
Right? So here on the farm, we're on a well. So it doesn't cost me really anything for water. But it was just so slow. It was like watching paint dry. Like because I just ran right out of the RO system. You know what I mean?
We got plenty of snow now. You could just defrost, David.
Yeah, I need to do that. Thinking of ways. You should see my pond is frozen and it's still filling.
Me too. I got my de-icer in there, so it's got a hole in it still.
Okay, you got bubbler in it.
So with my sump, I'm running my Pax Vellum. It's my main nutrient export, but I still want to look after all my pods and bugs and stuff that are going to feed my tank. I want a spot for them to breed and multiply. So I still built a refugium into my tank here, as you guys can see. I got a Tunzi light. That's the ones that
I love that light. I'm using that light for the refugium. I love that light. It's completely waterproof and it grows shado like crazy.
Right. So I end up right now, like I have a couple sea urchins in that area and I feed them my shado that's I harvest from my Pax Bellum because those urchins have been a pain in the butt, knocking over all my acropora and all that stuff. I'm like, guys, you are going back in there. So they're in there for a timeout, but I just feed them some of the leftover stuff. But in there, I have some Miracle Mud right now, and I have some bacteria, like those Pierce blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I seeded my whole tank with all Algae Barn's products, all their pods, bacteria, all those things. Even like the Chaeto that's running in my Pax Bellum, everything I've gotten was from Algae Barn that I started with this tank. That's how I brought this tank to life, because with the coralline algae, everything was from that company. I was very, very pleased with it.
How big is the refugium?
That refugium is probably about like a 40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my sump is about, that sump right there in that picture is like a 210 gallon sump.
And Rob asked, I guess he's referring to the main tank, about what's the par that you shoot for in that main tank.
I haven't even done a par reading on here, to be honest with you. I don't really.
I don't know the par of any tanks in my house.
I just look at the coral. The coral's doing well. You're doing right with the lighting,
Exactly.
Pretty much. I know par's become a big thing in the last few years, but before the last few years, no one knew what par was. It was like lumens, like we said, 6,500. What was it, Steve? 20,000 K, 10,000 K. It was like, okay, I'm good. But pretty much when you see how your corals are reactive, then you get an idea of whether you're getting enough par or not. Now, Ryan just jumped out of the room. I'm assuming he's restarting the presentation.
Sorry about that.
So I'm going through the questions here. The total water volume of the system.
Okay, so the main tank displays a 600 gallon, and the sump is a 210.
Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, that's almost 1,800 gallons.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not including the Pax Bellum, not including the lines, the plumbing, water that you're storing.
Yep. Oh, exactly. Because my RO holding container is a 50-gallon barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's crazy the amount of evaporation that I get.
Mm-hmm. And no, you don't talk too much, Rob. Every time you ask a question, it actually raises another question that somebody was thinking of.
So what size water change do you do?
So right now I don't do any water changes. I was doing water changes as the tank was, maturing.
Cycling.
Yeah. Myself, I don't really do any water changes. I do, when I do water changes, it's all automatic off my Apex dose. And I do about, 10 gallons a day. Because like I was, and even I still should be, because what happens is all those different elements that is in the water comes in the salt, like iodine, all those things, this helps replenish my tank. Like right. I do dose, manually dose iodine, but there's different elements in that salt that probably my corals would, be absorbing when I'm doing my water changes, right? But my tank's been successful without doing water changes, running my Pax Bellum, keeping all my nutrients in check. Everything's been great.
Now you do have to add that you're running the Alcatronic, you're running the Dosatronic, and what are you testing with? You're testing with the Apex?
Okay, here, I got some pictures.
I mean, when you say no water changes, people kind of jump in another. We have to add the fact that he's doing automated testing regularly throughout the day. So he's getting notifications of alkalinity, pH, salinity, temperature, everything he's getting automatically notified of.
Yeah, exactly. I was just here a picture of
that was the Alcatronic up there. Is that a master? You just went past.
That's one here. Yeah, so you guys can see that one. So this is what I have. Like myself, I really like tinkering around automation and all that gear. So we know alkalinity is very important in a reef tank. So this is my Alcatronic. It tests as many times a day as I want for alkalinity for my tank. I run mine about an 8.4. So with the Alcatronic, it keeps everything on a nice straight line. We don't have any fluctuations throughout the day because I have mine tested. Mine's tested about 6 times a day or less, depends. And it will dose if you need alkalinity. So say it dropped down to, a DKH, it will top that back up. So it keeps your tank being consistent, because we all know everything was consistent. Everything's going to grow so much better, right? So that's what I use to monitor my alka on my tank right there. but I do test, weekly using Salford test kits. Just, like I do trust the Alcatronic, but I want to make sure, it's calibrated right and everything's running perfectly. And the Salford test kit always usually matches up perfectly with the Alcatronic. So those are my two main for testing alkalinity in my reef tank.
What about as far as water evaporation, top off and stuff? You're automatic on that too?
Yep. So that I'm running off the Apex. Is there an ATK?
Okay, the ATK.
Yeah, I don't have a picture of that with me though.
Do you use that? What is it? The PMUP pump, or you use your own pump with the ATK?
I use the pump that came with the ATK.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. My 50-gallon barrel, I keep all my water changing, all like the water mixing stuff. It's in the main part of the house, down in the basement. It's probably a good 80, 90 feet away from my fish room. And that little pump will pump it like almost
That's what I'm
100 feet.
wondering, because I didn't know what the head pressure or the max on that little pump is.
I'm an electrician, so I just spliced in water in my own wires to make it long enough to go from the Apex, about that 100 feet of cable, to my basement, ran all my new RO lines back to my tank. So it works perfectly. And the same with the dose from the Apex. That when it do my water changes, the main unit is in my main fish room where it's nice and dry. All the RO lines go down to the basement. One goes to the barrel for all the new water, and then the one goes to the sump that's in my basement to pump it back outside when I do my water changes.
And Rob, my favorite dude, he said about what is the daily alkalinity consumption? Like, do you feel like it's dosing daily? Like, I've come to the point, but I don't have the load that you have in that tank, because I got a lot of mostly soft corals.
Yeah,
but
my
alkalinity has sat high for the last few weeks.
That's New York water. Mine's the same thing. Every state has different water. You can't go.
I thought it was.
Pennsylvania?
No, he's in Canada.
I'm in Canada.
Okay.
Now, what is your alkalinity sit at, Steve, on a regular? I fight with high alkalinity. I fight.
It's always a little high.
Yeah, I fight with high alkalinity. My alkalinity.
I gotta be honest. I don't think I've checked my alkalinity in a year, because my tank's been up and running for years now, and it's always a little bit high. What do they use? Like 8 to 10. It's supposed to be, I think, or something, right? And mine's always like 10 to 12.
That's what mine is.
Really?
I
leave it on, and the only thing I use in my tank is the 2-part calcium.
And that's what I use.
Okay.
Look, I told Sean and Ryan that, and they was like, "Oh my God, 12!" And I was like, "I can't keep my alkalinity down."
I know that's what you're saying. It's unbelievable.
It sits at like, I think the lowest it's been was 10.
I think that's just our water here. I really do.
Yeah, and that's with the RO and 2-part.
Yep.
So you're asking about my consumption as well. Okay, so I run my my Alcatronic to monitor, but I don't have it dosing my tank at all. Because if you see beside my sun here, that's about a 4-foot calcium reactor. So with my calcium reactor, I just set it and pretty much forget it. Like, I will test, like, the Alcatronic lets me know what my Alka is sitting at, right? Then if it does drop a little bit, I have the wireless Kimura dosing pump, right? So I can wirelessly from my phone, if I want to add, speed it up a few more mil just to get that extra alkalinity into my tank, I can do it wirelessly from my phone. So the Alcatronic is just monitoring for me. It's not doing any dosing, but if it's standalone, if I wanted to dose 2-part or whatever, I could with that. But I'm a firm believer. I really enjoy having the calcium reactor, and like that calcium reactor, it lasts me like for months and months.
That also has to do with what corals in your tank.
Exactly.
You have mostly hard corals, SPS, or
yeah. I got. I'll be honest with you, I got a mixed reef. I was just doing SPS dominant, but everything takes so long to grow. I find it's like you just want to enjoy that tank, but a lot of softies and affiliate, like a lot of it's very
come to the dark side.
Oh, they're beautiful corals, right? So all my Aquarium stuff, they're on high up in the tank. I keep my softies and zoas and everything in the bottom. So it's a nice, beautiful mixed reef, but I got a little bit of everything in there. So the calcium reactor works perfect for me.
Yeah, I have mostly softies, and I don't have a problem. I have mostly livers and zoes, and I do have like hammers and stuff too. But a couple of brains. I don't. As far as like the SPS, I got away from that. I've had Montepores that got so big they took over my tank and stuff.
That's what happened to me.
And stuff, and I'd rather see things moving.
Yeah.
But with that being said, you don't use the calcium, the alkalinity that you do with the SPS and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's been such a great tool. It's dosing everything I need, and I just got to monitor it. That's why we do the testing and make sure, because you can tell right away as soon as the corals. It's like right now I'm running a lot more white light. I'm feeding a lot heavier right now. I can tell the more consumption now because of I've ramped up my lighting and everything, and so now I just dial that back in a little bit, and everybody's happy.
Now Juan Melendez says about, I don't know if he's talking about the calcium reactor, probably calcium, about how much media does that calcium reactor hold? Because he said that's got to be more than 20. That's like what, 25 pounds or more?
Yeah. So I run arm. I can't remember how big. How many
the
pounds they are.
arm.
Yeah, those jugs there.
So you got to have like 8 of those jugs.
Oh, pretty close. Yeah, it's pretty close. And then a couple bags of the mag from Two Little Fishies in there. Mix it throughout for the magnesium.
Because the arm is a biomedia.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly a crushed, like broken down old coral skeleton. But I don't know if those packages are 2 pounds or 5 pounds, but they're pretty heavy.
They are, exactly. And I was always running Two Little Fishies media, but remember you couldn't get it forever, so I ended up switching to arm, and arm's been working fine for me.
And to address that, the note with the alkalinity consumption, 2 things: A, your water parameters coming out your RO, and the buffering of your alkalinity in the tank versus what animals you have in the tank and what is utilizing the calcium and alkalinity of the tank is going to determine how much you got to put in that. And you're not going to be able to know that until your tank is actually running.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've seen people add things to the tank, like guys have added acros, and like one of the things we have in New York is, like Steve said, I had the same problem. I had chalice in here and I had pavona, and they outgrew everything on the tank to where I had to take them out.
Pavona will just take over too,
I didn't realize that the alkalinity was staying so high. They love it. Some coral love it. So since Ryan's running a calcium reactor, he's not dosing like, as you're saying, you're dosing 38 mils a day or 40 mils a day or what have you.
My biggest thing that I watch is my alkalinity. If my alkalinity is in check, usually the calcium, everything is falling right behind it. So it works out perfect. I saw your message there, Joe, about the lighting system. So with the reef brights ramp up and down throughout the day. So when I talked with Tulio, he jumped on there at Apex with me. I actually got Tulio from Reef Bright. He programmed the lighting on that part for me when we did it. So they come on in the morning, first thing in the morning, and they're the last thing to shut off at night.
Yeah, Tulio is great.
Oh yeah, Tulio is one awesome dude. If you want to know everything about lighting, or you need help with something.
Yeah, he's spoken at our club 2 or 3 times, I think.
Yeah. He's a good, nice man too. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is very knowledgeable.
He's a wealth of information.
Yeah.
Oh, he sure is. Yeah. So there's that. That's my fish room there, and I bought some couches and stuff to sit on just to look at. That's my TV.
Yeah, that's a piece of art. So now the water, we got the tank.
Yeah.
Now I know you got a lot of fish in there. About how many fish do you have in that tank now? Like it's running how long now? 2 years?
No, just a year. Just a year. Yeah. Where'd it go here? So I can actually show you. I can show you a little video what the tank looks like now if you guys want to see it.
And there's no top on the tank?
No, there's no top at all. Like the Euro brace sticks about 6 inches into the tank, and I haven't had any problem.
Euro bracing like a wide. Okay.
Yeah, let's see if I show you a picture of the Euro bracing. It's on its side.
And if you guys out there are looking at rimless tanks, double think. Once you get a certain size rimless tank and you start cleaning that tank and the water starts spilling over the edge, you get water spots on it. It has been the bane of my existence. I got 2 rimless. I have the Aqua Springs that I got from the club. I wipe water spots off that thing every day.
I'm always spilling water on I never buy rimless again. So even with the magnets, use the magnets and it goes over. Yeah.
So
I'll show you.
The Euro brace is definitely the way to go. For me anyway.
there's my sump there with my daughter in it, just to show you. So I went all glass. The price was right. Couldn't beat it. So that you put my filter socks, everything there. I ended up painting it. Same thing with the custom colors on it. Did that myself. Give a little bit of pop to it. Yeah, so it's 6 inches Euro brace all the way around, and I think Euro brace is definitely the way to go.
So on your sump, it's overflowing into the first compartment, and then it runs to the socks?
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like a bubble trap, the first part.
Right. Yeah,
it keeps it quiet. Yep.
Yeah. I did it originally. I had the pipes directly into the sump, the socks. The problem is every time I had to change the sock, I had to take the pipe off. It was a pain in the neck. And I finally changed it where I did it that way. It runs into maybe a 2-inch chamber, and then it overflows, and I can take the socks out while it's still running. It doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, right there, you can see where they 90 down into the first chamber.
Yeah, so I see it there, yeah. Yep.
Then it overflows into the socks, and then down through the bottom, and then we're skimmer chamber. So this is where my refugium is in the back here. So that compartment is fed back through my Pax Bellum. So that area, anything that comes into my Pax Bellum, because the Pax Bellum will carry, different bugs and stuff in there, will go right into that refugium again, and then it flows over in its own little overflow into the return and back into the tank. So this way, it never gets into
I wish I had the
chamber. Sorry, Steve.
I wish I had the room like this, where everything's open. This is so much easier to maintain like this than crawling underneath the cabinet all the time.
Oh yeah,
as you get older, it gets harder and harder to crawl into that cabinet.
Watch your back, Steve. I'm telling Ryan, wait till he gets old. He had to worry about that. Oh my God.
So I'll show you here. So where is that?
That was a good idea, the way you cut it right into the wall like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Very smart. Yeah.
So that's in my refugium, right there.
I'm sorry.
See, this is the Aero's refugium. So this is all by itself, like I said. So nothing could go in there. Nothing could go in and eat the pods or anything. It's not going to be where the skimmer is if they ever get skimmed out, or go into any filter socks. So everything in there has its own home. And then you can see this little, this is where the mesh is here. It overflows into here, into my little bubble trap, and then back into the Abyss pump, back to the tank. So anything could live there, keep seeding my tank.
So your overflow box that you have on the back of your tank, that's just glued onto it separately, or and there's a hole drilled in the tank, or?
Yep. So right here, this piece is silicone or whatever, the silicone right onto the back of the tank, and then the weir here is glass. It was cut out.
Oh, it's cut out. Okay.
It's cut out of the back of the tank. So the back of the tank is one sheet of glass, but they cut that section out right there where the weir is. You can see the plastic, and then the Euro brace goes right over the top.
Right. And that's it. You just silicone that other overflow box right onto it like that.
Yeah, it came like that. It was all pre-done, ready to go.
Okay,
cool.
Everybody watching, this is what happens when you put two electricians together. Somebody's going to build a doomsday device. Somebody's going to be building this weekend.
So you can see a bit of there, Steve. Yeah,
and
when I measured everything, it just fit, because you can see I don't even have any color here where you can see between the bulkheads, right? Everything fit perfectly. I only had so much room to make these turns and make the plumbing look nice with the 90s, So plus everything had to fit right past my Deltec perfectly, because I didn't have that much room. So you always measure once, cut once.
What size pipes are the drains there?
So those pipes are all 1.25 inches.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. This is it. So I can show you. I'll put up a little video here for you what the tank looks like right now. Give you an idea what I've been up to.
In a year, wait till 2 years. Can you imagine? That's beautiful.
Trying to find some balance in my life, but I never really put up a fight. Didn't follow my dreams, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say. You will find a way. Slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth the while. You will make it in time. You'll make it in time. Time, 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 time. What makes it worth the while? You will make it in time. You will find a way. Slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth the while. You will make it in time. You'll make it in time. Time, time. You'll make it in time. Time, time. What makes it worth the while? You will make it in time. I really wanted to get it right. Trying to find some balance in my life, but I never really put up a fight. Didn't follow my dreams, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say. Slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth the while. You will make it in time. I never left a stone unturned, trying to find some love in this crazy world. I felt like I was never heard. All I wanted was to be loved. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say. You will find a way. Slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth the while. You will make it in time. You'll make it in time. Time, time. You'll make it in time. Time, time. You'll make it in time. Time, time. You'll make it in time.
Well, there you go. There's a bit of the masterpiece.
Very impressive.
Well, thank you very much.
I saw about $2,000 in Bitcoin yellow tangs in there.
I bought those when the price was right.
Yeah,
Those
you can't
yellow
get
tangs are
yellow
gold
tanks
now.
anywhere anymore now. Like, since they closed up with Hawaii and stuff, like people
Yeah.
online are selling them for hundreds of dollars for small ones.
They're like gold.
Some was up to 600 that I seen.
600 I saw.
Yeah, what most you can get now is the captive bred, right?
I got a source though, Steve. I got
You
a
got a
source.
source?
I will.
Yeah.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk later. Definitely. I was there today.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it. You know, you get into that point. Like, I still got to buy a bunch more coral. It's just everything you put in there. It never seems like it's just so. I start everything as frags, right? So it takes so much time to grow. But eventually, everything will fill in, be colonies, and I'm looking forward to like all my stag corals and stuff to grow and branch out through the tank. That's what I'm really looking forward to.
And when it grows,
Yeah,
it'll just start grow. Like when corals decide to grow,
take off.
Yeah, but every coral is different. I mean, I've had brings that stayed pretty much the same for a year. I have a green toadstool that I started from about the size of a quarter. That's bigger than a football now. That's huge. It just has a quarter of my 180.
Yeah.
And it is beautiful, bright green, and I've cut that so many times and brought it into the show and donated pieces, given pieces away to friends, And it's nice when you see something like, you're doing something right when you're growing something that small.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Into something like that.
I must have brought about 70 mushrooms to the coral auctions.
Right.
I'm overrun again.
I'm gonna say, even did I just give you mushrooms a couple of weeks ago too? Right?
I gotta trade you because I love the yellow one he gave me, and I got too many of the green ones. That's why we miss the events.
Right.
We love having the online events, and we want to appeal to all you guys because you've been asking. We're gonna get on with the online auctions, but that's what the hobby is about: sharing the information,
exactly,
sharing what works for you, what doesn't work,
teaching people to try to keep things alive. Right.
Well, yeah, keeping them alive helps.
Not to have a killing machine,
Well, going to these different events and stuff and meeting different people and stuff, like, me and Dee became great friends. That's how we met. We at Reef Palooza, we've been friends ever since, right? Yeah, so it's a great way to meet everybody.
And Steve really got me into the shows because I wasn't really going to the shows, but he has some lovely saltwater tanks in his house. You know?
Oh, nice.
But I really appreciate looking at a good tank. It's like looking at a nice car.
Me too. Yeah, me too. No, exactly. I like, believe it or not, but I look at a tank, and if I see everything's good in the tank, the first thing I want to look underneath to see what's going on there.
Right? The hood.
Because I want to know what they're doing, Like everybody else likes to fish and they're happy. No, I want to know how it's happening, what you're doing.
I want to see the system. I want to see the science, man.
Right.
Exactly. It's like when I built this tank, I wanted it to be easy, accessible, and everything had a place. Everything has a place. When you're testing, you put it away. It just feels good. You're in there. It makes you feel good, right?
It's so much easier to take
that environment. Exactly. So now it's not a chore. It's just fun. I got everything pretty much so automated. Some days I'm like, what am I going to do? I want to tinker with something, but what am I going to tinker with? Right?
My general rule is if the filter is hard to clean, you're not going to clean it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And one of my customers has a 200-gallon saltwater tank, and everything is in the basement in one room. Yes, you pump it up, but everything is wide open. It's easy to clean. It's easy to get to. Skimmers, everything's right there. And that makes it just makes it so much easier.
Well, exactly. My old house, my fish room, everything was in the basement, and I was doing that, pumping it. But here, everything, I had this addition built on, so running all the plumbing and stuff, it just wouldn't be feasible all the way back to the main house. So it was perfect just having that room behind the tank. So
I think all of us, I think all of we husbands dream of a fish room.
Right.
Like if we could have the James Bond where you hit the wall and there's a fish room and the wife doesn't know it's there. We disappear for hours,
This tank pops out of the floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, try to make everything as easy as possible to work on your tank is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, like you said, the easier it is, the more likely you're going to do it.
Yeah, and just maintenance-wise, keep everything clean. It's just easier to take things apart and clean it and put it back together.
Now we have the video of Joe G's fish room. If you guys haven't seen Joe G's fish room.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. I shot the video at Joe's house when Steve, Steve actually went through and built that fish room with Joe. And from day one.
Not with Joe, for Joe.
For Joe. Well, Joe said, put that there, put this here, I want that there. Now,
check that out sometime.
Now, you must have added 10 more fish tanks since then, at least.
I think it's more like 15 fish tanks more. And I'm putting them on buckets, plastic buckets. I'm running gang valves off of gang valves so I can supplement more tanks. It's gotten insane.
It's because you made this room too small.
There's no room.
You're right.
There's no room that
was one of those negotiation tricks with the wife.
Was it? Yeah. So it's always the main obstacle.
You can have this, but you can't have that. Okay.
The wife is usually the main obstacle when it comes to things.
When we built that room, everything was nice and neat and rose, and everything was easy. Now you go in there, he's got fish tanks sitting on top of buckets.
Well, that's the beauty. No, that's the beauty of me shooting the video day one. It was first running. What was that? The first? It was running for maybe 5 months or something like that.
Really?
But that being said,
close. Yeah.
Joe raises stuff that we've never heard of.
Oh,
You know,
he raises fish.
He
I
raises
can't
fish
pronounce.
like there's no way like anybody raises them. You know.
You're
He
always
raises
talking about
food.
Joe there.
He raises
Oh,
food
man.
to raise
Talk
those
about
fish.
Joe all the time.
Because I have to call him and like get the
Yeah, I know.
scientific name, and like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm lucky if a pigeon craps on my head, let alone my fish breed.
Dee's messaging me. He's like, you should see what Joe's got today. I'm like, really?
Whenever I go over, he goes, "You want to see this fish tonight?" And he tells me fishes' names I've never heard of.
Right.
But now when we get to that phase with the saltwater, like we're moving more and more into the breeding of the saltwater on the home level.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are breeding the freshwater. That's why I'm pushing Mike from Mass. I'm pushing so many freshwater people that I know have the capability and the discipline to go into the salt, because this is where we eliminate problems like Hawaii and over harvesting and locking down the fisheries and things like that.
Well, that's
problem is,
why
like, raising certain saltwater
I'm a
fish,
big
like, let's say-
proponent of having like endangered species fish tanks. So the fish that are either endangered in the wild or actually extinct in the wild, you know, hobbyists are the only recourse for these fish.
Right.
So if hobbyists can start breeding these and sharing them with other fish members, that's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way a lot of these fish can actually survive.
Mhm.
It's something that really it kind of gets to your heart when you want to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
He got me into the killifish. That was 4 tanks ago.
You talk about that killifish all the time. Joe, he talks about that fish all the time, Joe.
Dude, that killifish is like a dog to me. He's sitting
I know.
there when I'm drinking coffee. Because we have a few people that breed kind of endangered, some rarer killifish and some kind of threatened species of fish. And once you find the beauty of these fish, it's kind of hard to look past it. And these are freshwater fish.
Yeah. It's a whole new science. It really is, man. It's a beautiful thing.
So Ryan,
Because
you
it
need
makes
2
you
more
feel
tanks.
good as well as you're doing good for the hobby. So
Exactly.
it's a double bonus point.
Well,
So
I guess with all those breeding fish, it's finding that trigger point. Because I mean, how many times he'll tell me things he has to do to them, and like, you know, I'm like, how do you even think of that, you know? But well, after it didn't work 10 times, and you finally found a way it did work.
Yeah.
And now here's a sneak peek, because we've been going for about an hour and a half. We're running kind of long in the tooth, and I got 2 surprises. First and foremost, you guys saw the 600-gallon build. He's got the 400 plus freshwater build going that we're all gonna have to kick in on, because I'm pushing him to pull the trigger. It's set up. We got to get water in that baby, and then we got to get him back, because that's a whole different documentary.
This freshwater stuff, man.
He says freshwater fish is hard. There's a guy's 600-gallon saltwater system. The freshwater fish is so challenging.
What gets me is like, my biggest thing is like, I want it to look good and pleasing and natural, right? I get so picky with it, and I overthink it. I know I shouldn't do that, but I do.
But when you finally get it done,
Yeah.
it's going to be done right because of all the work you're putting in the front end.
True. That's why I keep picking your brain, D.
So if you guys don't know about Farm Boy Reef channel, follow them on Facebook, the Farm Boy Reef Club, YouTube, Instagram, you name it, we're all over the place. That's surprise number 1. So we're going to have to get Ryan back when we get that.
Sure.
What's it, 420, 440?
420.
420. So
Yeah.
that's the first thing.
Yeah. All the control board, all the wire management, it's all complete. I got a controller on it. I put the new Hydros 4 controller on it. So it has some automation as well.
Which I love, by the way.
Ryan, what are you going to do when this is finished after, let's say, 3 years from now, 4 years from now? Everything's up, running perfectly. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
What's the next step?
That's a good question.
What do you want to do next?
I'm not sure.
Octopus.
Oh, that would be pretty cool. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. When I get something in my head, I just go ahead and do it. So.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you've achieved this already. But once you master it, it's always something. Well, the next,
Project.
and the next.
Yes. Well,
I will be.
Yeah, but there's always things to change in a tank too. Things new equipment comes up, and 2 years from now he'll have different stuff on there or whatever.
Yeah,
Find
exactly.
better ways.
You could do that. It's just nice when the tank is running. You don't really want to mess with it too much,
There's always another project.
Well, it's like D and myself. Like we were challenged to do seahorse tanks. Remember D?
But the more I
know,
look at the
right?
research, it is. I'm not one to go out and to just fail and to count it as a wash, because the animals are the priority to me. But it's a lot of work for that simple animal. So
I know, right? This seems very challenging.
But that once again was surprise number one. So if you're not following him on Instagram, see what's happening with the 400, the 420. It's coming.
Maybe a bigger reef tank eventually.
1,000.
Maybe. We'll see.
Now, if you guys don't know about Saturday night, 9 o'clock, the Reefing Collective, Ryan, myself, Sean Beeves, we have got Sequest Farms. Have them here.
Wow.
Yeah, they're coming on the show tomorrow.
They're coming on the show. They're donating over $7,000 worth of prizes tomorrow night. I'm telling all the Brooklyn Aquarium Society,
everybody,
all the Farm Boy Reefers, all the D from Brooklyn followers, whoever the 3 people that I got are, get on the show tomorrow night, because you got a chance to win that. And we're giving out how many? About 100 prizes?
Yeah, 100 prizes.
100 winners.
It's like $7,000 worth of stuff, and make sure you're present to win it.
You gotta be present to win it. Gotta be in it.
Yep.
Spread the word. If
So
you don't
where is
know,
that? How do you get on that?
on the Reefing Collective,
Collective.
tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. YouTube, Facebook, my page.
Yep.
I'll send you the link, Steve.
Yeah, so it's gonna be awesome because
Okay.
our co-host Sean B's Reef, he's actually going to one of the facilities, and we're gonna be live from the facility as well. So we get to see all the neat.
And they
ecosystems.
have, I believe, 8 facilities.
Yes. Yep.
Nationwide. There's one right here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. There's one in Colorado. They're all over.
I think you
the
have 2
country.
near you, don't you? Don't you have 2?
Yeah,
near
there's
you?
one in Connecticut.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the wrong name, but it's up in Connecticut, and there's one in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Yes.
But for the people viewing tomorrow, you can utilize this prize in any of those locations across the country. So tune in tomorrow. It is something to win.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be an awesome show. I'm looking forward to that one.
What time is that going to start?
9 o'clock.
No, we've moved this to
doing
8,
it early.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Yeah, we want to be able to get in there when everything is still open.
That's right.
Joe, that's PM.
Joe will be up in the morning. He'll be texting me in the morning.
All of us retirees, we get confused.
He'll text me 8 a.m. drinking coffee. Well, you're not on yet.
Right?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Yeah, so definitely tune in for that one, guys. You guys could win something.
So I'm gonna post the link. We're gonna post the links all over the place. YouTube, Facebook, anywhere. I'll try to send it. I'll try to send an email to these guys, because some of our guys are 100. You can't just post to Facebook. They got like flip phones and rotaries in the house. So for you guys, I'll email you a link.
What I'll do is I'll put the link right now in all the chats here.
Okay, cool.
For now, there, I just posted it.
Jim Stewart, do 50 push-ups. Hey, Jim, I dare you to do 50 push-ups.
He's a buddy of mine. He's being funny.
I dare you do 50.
I
already did my push-ups today.
One push-up?
I already did my workout today.
I'm lucky I could push up the cap to this bottle. I'm fighting with it earlier.
That's too funny.
So, yeah, that's a little something. And once again, we're putting it out there to all of the followers, all the Bass members, all the Farm Boy members. So definitely tune in. 100 prizes. be there. It's awesome. The Beeves, he took a walk through the Colorado location. I believe it's in Littleton.
Yeah.
Beautiful fish, birds, reptiles. It's a really nice facility. I didn't even know I would have went there, but it's in Woodbridge, which is about almost 3 hours, and we have snow. So I don't think I would have been able to cut it. But he's gonna do a live show from that location.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I don't see any other questions. Ryan just posted a link in the comments, and we'll post it as well. I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. We're an hour and a half in. Holy mackerel! We're gonna kill poor Ryan. I need to sleep and a drink here.
Oh, it's all good because usually we start our other show at 9 o'clock. So it's all good. I like these early starts, to be honest with you.
I just like to see tanks. It's all about the tanks. Sometimes I don't care about anything else.
Right?
I don't care who's selling what. I want to see the fish swim, and I can watch that for hours. Exactly. I'm still mad because those anemones didn't move, but I'm gonna let.
They're still there. You saw that?
I'm mad about that.
Yeah.
Well, Steve will tell you. Steve, have you had an anemone that didn't move?
I would keep them. Right now, I have a few anemones in my tank. I'm looking to get rid of them in baskets. Yeah. And what happened? One of them today got through the basket.
No.
The second time's happening. And I find them on the bottom of my rock in my 180. And I had to get there with a screwdriver to actually get him off because he was going underneath. I'm like, he'll take over. I've tried this before, and they can be still for months, and then all of a sudden they're all over the place.
So yours is going from what, September now?
Yeah.
Or October or something. Yeah. He put his on the arch.
You see the video, they're on that arch. Yeah.
And I said, Ryan, I don't believe that will be there a day from now.
But they do. I've done that, and I put them in a tank where they were perfect. They stayed there for months, and then all of a sudden they went up to the place and killed some of my corals, stung things. I started at 25 separately just for anemones at one time.
Yep.
To me, anemones should not be with coral.
I know. I take my chance.
I give up. I haven't seen my bubble tip in months.
One of my customers, I just removed anemones out of his tank because of that, because they were stinging everything.
Yeah, it happens. I'm taking my chance.
Clowns stinging them and stuff. You know,
my clowns won't even host them. It's like a perfect spot. I'm about ready to get a bunch more clowns. Just toss them in there, see if they'll go in.
Oh boy! But yeah. So I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys. Thanks for having me on here. I really appreciate it. It was nice meeting you, Joe and Steve, and hopefully we can do it again.
Definitely.
Tomorrow night.
Definitely we will.
8
Thank you.
o'clock. Did I get it right? Did I jack it up right? 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock this time. Yep.
See, in their group,
like I said,
in their group, I'm the old guy, Joe.
Thanks for everything tonight. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Very impressive, and I don't say that with many tanks.
Well, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's a passion of love.
It's nice too when you get a chance to think things through before you do it like that, and try to automate as much as you could.
Yep, exactly. You always try to plan it the best you can, and then execute.
All right, so
we're all fish nerds because we're all spending our Friday night on the computer talking about fish.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
True.
So with that, everybody, we'll say good night.
David,
stay
send me
healthy.
That link.
Sorry about that, guys. Hit the wrong thing.
Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
That's right. That's right.
Send me that link, David.
Take care.
I'm going to hear this for the next 3 hours now.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, guys.